Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and I want to talk about Elizabeth Gilbert, the woman who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and what she has decided to do, and how that reflects on Dungeons & Dragons, and what it means to be an artist today. So Elizabeth Gilbert is a really fascinating lady. She wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and it was an absolutely massive hit. I read it. It was a very good book. And then it was a great movie with Julia Roberts, right? So really a fantastic story, and she's a very famous, incredibly successful author. She's one of those authors who doesn't have to look for her next publisher, right? Like, she's like, I'm writing a book. I'm going to choose between the publishers. I don't have to find one, right? They're like, and that's what you get when you hit a massive success, which is really exciting. So we are, so basically she was writing a novel, and she was explaining this she was working on a novel, and she had already announced to her fans that she was writing a novel in Soviet-era Russia, right? And then Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine in February of 2022, right? Now that has been going on for 16 months, right? And at this point, the whole world is like, how can we punish Russia for this absolutely monstrous act that they've done, right? And Elizabeth Gilbert has, in my humble opinion, joined a very long line of artists who are saying, we're not going to glorify a country that murders human beings every single day, right? And so she announced that she is postponing indefinitely this novel, right? She's like, I'm not gonna glorify a country that does this, right? So she shut it down, right? And so this is an artist taking the time to punish a sovereign nation, right? And saying, your acts are abominable, they're inhuman, and what you're doing is wrong, and I'm not going to glorify you with my incredible artistry, right? Now, what does this have to do with Dungeons & Dragons? Well, here's the thing. As a dungeon master, you are the preeminent, most important, number one artist in the world. I'm very convinced that dungeon masters are the most important artists in the world. Now, why is that? Well, what we're doing is incredibly personal, incredibly fast, incredibly innovative, and incredibly unique, right? There just aren't any artists like us, right? We can tell stories, we can impact lives at the table, right? The other thing is we're the only format for human artistry that can literally change second by second in real time to match the desires and the needs of the audience, right? And at the same time, we can deliver a powerful, useful message, right? And that is really important, really unique, and really special, right? And I think that's pretty amazing, right? And so with that said, right, as the moment we recognize that we are the world's preeminent artists, the question then becomes, what obligation do we have, like Elizabeth Gilbert, to punish nations, right? Is there a way that a dungeon master can punish Russia for what Russia has done? It's an interesting question, right? Now, the reality is, I don't need to tell you need to go out and punish Russia, right? What I need to tell you is that you are more important as an artist to this world than Elizabeth Gilbert will ever be, right? And what I'm saying is that art has stakes. That's exactly what Elizabeth Gilbert is saying. She's saying art has stakes, right? I was writing this novel, but I realized that the power of my art is a currency. It is a powerful, it is a currency, and I will not give it to a villain, to villains. I will not give my currency of artistry to villains. And frankly, I think as we go forward, we are recognizing that art is more powerful, more useful than money. Money is now secondary to the power of celebrity. And it is certainly, in my opinion, secondary to the power of art, right? So the reality is, we as dungeon masters have to realize we are artists first and foremost. And now, in today's world, artists can do what governments can't or won't, which is to punish villain nations, punish villain corporations, punish villain individuals, right? And saying, I'm going to withhold from my art from you. I'm going to change my art from you. I'm going to hold my art away from you. I'm going to target my art toward you. I'm going to paint a unique, illuminating picture of you with my artistry. And we are in the same boat. What the stories we tell have stakes, real stakes, right? What I'm telling you is that Elizabeth Gilbert will never be as important an artist as you And even with that, even knowing she's a lesser artist than a bog standard dungeon master, she's still saying it's my job to punish Russia, and she's doing it. She's doing a fantastic job punishing Russia, right? So the question is, we every week at the at the table, right, we uplift, right, and we bring joy and we inspire, right? Is there a point when we're looking at the horrors of the world, when we're looking a pure evil villain straight in the face, like Vladimir Putin, where we say, I'm going to use my art against you. I'm going to use my art against you, right? That's exactly what Elizabeth Gilbert has set the standard to do for every dungeon master, in my humble opinion. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.